And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. The award-winning Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. How do you do? Great to be with you. I am Rob. Sitting directly across from me on the other side of the glass, both literally and metaphorically, the great one, Colonel Grudge, the Alpha and the Omega of ESPN Upstate. Hashtag Dad Kicks, the conductor of the Symphony of Sound. That is the Rob Brown Show, the award-winning Rob Brown Show. He is the great one, Lonzo at the helm this AM. Adorned in a jacket today. What a lovely day in the neighborhood we are having today.
Not only today, but for several days to come, probably. So
are we stuck like this for a while?
Yeah, so be careful out there, especially with standing water. I know you hear people say that all the time. Hey, man, I know that truck's big. Don't go through it. Just go around it. Go around it. Don't think, I got this. Let me show you.
That's a lesson we see people learn every time one of these happens.
That truck's pretty. Don't watch it float away. And especially don't watch it float away while you're in it. So, yeah. So be careful out there. Lots of water.
Please be careful out there because it nasty. It's nasty outside, y'all. So don't do dumb things. You know what I mean? Don't do dumb things. We need you as listeners, you know? Greenville needs you. Spartanburg needs you. Surrounding communities need you. We need your greatness. Please don't float away. We would appreciate it. Is this the end of, what was it, Fred?
Yeah, it's Fred.
This is Fred we're going through right now.
Stinking Fred.
Fred. Damn it, Fred.
You know what? We haven't named the storm Fred. Let's do that. Okay.
I had a dog named Fred. Irrelevant to this topic, but true. What a day we got lined up for you here on the show. The skies are gray. Sunny days on the inside, however, as the award-winning Rob Brown Show is here to keep you entertained as the gray, nasty stuff floats on around outside. So, with all of that being said, Zoe, we got so much to get into. Let's get into it.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
It is the lunch breakdown of 3 things you have to know before you start talking sports with your friends, your family, your coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. 844-47. Why am I giving you the phone number? I got to do the lunch breakdown. Zoe, does the rain impact you, like, mentally?
You should give them the phone number so they'll be prepared when it's time to call in. Or you can call in and line up.
I accept that. 844-GSP-ESPN, 844-477-3776. Text us on the Ingalls Market text line at 71307, 71307. Tweet us at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, or tweet everybody at ESPN Upstate. You go in that direction. Sean's already texted. He said, not having fun with my deliveries today. Oh, Sean boy, do I have bad news for you, pal? Looks like it's going to be this way for a hot minute.
I've got some bad news for you.
Never should have let that guy go. But he's doing well on NXT.
Yeah, love him on the announce team.
ESPN, did you drop the trophy last night? No. No, I did not drop the trophy last night.
Did any of the people that you allowed to?
No one dropped the trophy.
All right.
No one dropped the trophy.
Hopefully it is now in a secured location.
It is.
Good.
The trophy got a night out in the sun. It will get another day out in the sun on Saturday. It'll be at the Greenville Triumph game on Saturday. The Triumph need a little We got to put the oomph and try. You know, they need a little luck, Lonzo. I texted Chris last night and told them that if they needed a bit of a pep talk from a couple of dudes who know how to win, we'd come talk to the team before the match on Saturday. You know, we know how to close. We know how to finish. Anyway, it'll be at the game Saturday. So if you're not doing anything Saturday, come to the Triumph game. You can take a picture with the trophy. Because I know you all want to.
The tour continues.
The victory tour continues. And will continue continuing for some time.
By the way, I don't blame you, but this is new ground, and I'm enjoying it.
Having fun. Texter says, Rob, you're the Tebow of the upstate. We love you. That's not true. You know how that's not true? I'm employed today.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
I mean, at this point, it's not a crack on Tebow. It's just I tried to tell y'all weeks ago, and y'all said, you're just a hater. You just a Tebow hater. No, I'm a fan of good football. And I tried to warn you, don't get your hopes up.
You know what? You're right. Tebow has gone off this team. Now they can focus, and they're going to win every single game because they no longer have that pariah known as Timmy on their team anymore.
Clip it. That's a clip for Zoe for the future. I didn't say any of that. I simply told y'all weeks ago, don't get your hopes up about Timmy Terrific making the team because he's not gonna. And I didn't think he'd make it past preseason round 1. You all said, you're just a hater, Rob. You just don't like him. And I said, nah, it's got nothing to do with my personal feelings. He just ain't going to make the team. He's not that good, and he's not a tight end. And y'all went, no, you just hate him because of his this and his eye black and his religion. I don't care about any of it. He's not a good football player. And then he showed you over the weekend he's not a good football player. And then he didn't make the football team. And now, watch, here's the best part. I told somebody this last night, Lonzo. There were 4 possible outcomes to this. Number 1, Tebow makes the team and he plays well. No. Number 2, Tebow makes the team. He does not play well. He doesn't get playing time. And the people start going, why aren't you playing Tebow? We'd be winning if you played Tebow because he's a winner, in which case the Jags got a problem on their hand. Number 3, which is what happened, he got cut. And all the Florida fans down there in Jayville, of which there are a lot of them, are going to start lining up and going, well, we don't support the Jags anymore. We don't support the Jags because they got rid of a good young man and a winner. So we don't support them because they're not trying. The Jags tried to set up a publicity stunt that has just backfired in their face.
By the way, we are streaming right now on the ESPN Upstate Facebook page. If you want to see what a hater smile is, tune in right now. You can see a hater smile. He is trying to stop himself from smiling.
I haven't smiled yet.
He's trying to stop himself from smiling. The water can't save you forever.
I haven't tried smiling yet.
The hater smile is coming. It is.
I need to smile.
It might be. Stay tuned. Go to the ESPN Upstate Facebook page and make sure you point out when you see the hater smile. It's coming. It's coming.
I'm smiling. I'm not happy about it.
His lip is quivering over there. I see it.
No. See,
you see it too, don't you?
No. You guys are you guys. Lonzo is trying to paint me into this spot where I'm a hater. And I'm not. I told you guys yesterday.
You know how Elvis's lip kind of would go up a little bit?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what Rob's doing right now. That hater smile from
That's
popping out there.
You're making me laugh because you are every color I had down in the Florida Panhandle.
Anyone knows that I'm not funny. So
okay,
there it is.
Oh, being funny.
Yeah, that took some effort.
That's just at you being funny. Look, I for the record, no, I don't take pleasure in this. This isn't like a happy day dance for me. I'm not thrilled about it. All right. I don't like people losing their job. I'm just very simply saying that if you are basing your football team on good feels and Bible verses, you're going to be bad at football. And that's what happened.
Someone just tweeted Shawn Michaels saying, "I'm sorry" to Nature Boy before he kicked his head off, and said that's Urban Meyer cutting TiVo.
Yeah. Spot on. That ain't wrong. Let's get to the lunch breakdown. We'll come back to that later. I don't want to, but we will. Item number one on the lunch breakdown, we found out yesterday that the U.S. women's national soccer team will look much different the next time we start another round of competition. One of the legends, number 10 in the program, number one in your heart, Carli Lloyd, one of the most impactful big game players of all time, has announced that she is done. The second most capped player in world soccer history, the owner of 128 international goals, is calling it a career. The U.S. Women's soccer team will announce 4 fall-friendly matches, 2 in September, 2 in October. They will serve as the final matches for Carli Lloyd in a U.S. uniform. Lloyd will also play the remainder of the NWSL season with the New York, New Jersey Gotham FC before calling it quits on her professional club career, which has spanned 12 years and 6 teams. Lloyd said, quote, "When I first started out on the national team in 2005, my 2 main goals were to be the most complete soccer player I could be and help the team win championships. Every single day I stepped out on the field, I played as if it was my last game. I never wanted to take anything for granted, especially knowing how hard it is to get to the top, but even harder to stay at the top for so long." Carli Lloyd, 39 years old, started her career in July of 2005, a few days before she turned 23, when she debuted against the Ukraine in Portland, Oregon, has earned 312 caps, second all time in U.S. and world history, behind only Christine Lilly, who earned 354. Lloyd is just one of 4 international soccer players to play 300 or more times for her country. Through her 312 caps to date, the U.S. has an overall record of 257, 17, and 38, a winning percentage of 88%. She appeared for the U.S. in 3 different decades, at 4 World Cups, in 4 Olympic Games. She played in 25 World Cup matches, 22 Olympic matches, passing Christine Lilly for the most games for the USWNT in a World Championship event. She has started 239 of her 312 caps, came off the bench 73 times, and served as team captain in the latter part of her career. She has served under 5 different USWNT head coaches, scoring multiple goals under all of them, and will walk away an absolute legend of the game. But she may not be alone, as we have now learned that Megan Rapinoe has said that she is taking some time to think about her future as well. The 36-year-old, part of the U.S. squad that won bronze at the Tokyo Olympics in what was considered a massive disappointment, was asked straight to her face earlier this week what her future looks like with the women's national team and with the OL Reign in the USWL. Her teammate, Carli Lloyd, we just told you, obviously announced her retirement. She was asked shortly after and said, quote, "Just in terms of my whole career, I don't really know yet. I need to take some time to think about it. They always say you'll know when you know, but it's not really like that, because you could kind of keep going and it's like, oh yeah, you've accomplished so much, you'll be stepping away, fine. But the conversation is always anguished in your mind, or people just don't think about it. I've been thinking about it a lot." End quote. During her career with the U.S. women's national team, she's won a pair of gold cups, 2 Olympic gold medals, and scored 124 goals. We will keep an eye on what's next for Carli Lloyd and Megan Rapinoe of the U.S. women's national team. To the National Football League we go for item number 2. According to Michael Rothstein of ESPN, the Atlanta Falcons are the first 100% fully vaccinated NFL team, the first NFL team to reach that milestone. Atlanta has been incredibly proactive with vaccinations, both as a team and within their community. They have offered vaccines at their preseason game last Friday. They have opened up their team's practice facilities inside a Mercedes-Benz Stadium multiple times over the past month to serve as a vaccination site. The Falcons did have 5 players on the reserve COVID-19 list at the start of training camp, but all have been removed and no players have gone on that list since then. The NFLPA had recently said that Atlanta was one of 2 teams to have COVID-19 outbreaks this preseason. NFL Chief Medical Officer Dr. Alan Sills refuted the classification of the Falcons having an outbreak. Arthur Smith said they are very subjective terms, right? So you guys are out here at practice every day. We went through an outbreak last year when I was in Tennessee, completely different time than there was at vaccinations. We were in a completely different environment right now. I'm not going to go into any comments, but it's pretty obvious you guys come out here every day for work, so you would know. So I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get caught in some political what about game, this or that. But all of that aside, the Atlanta Falcons have no more questions to be answered. They are fully vaccinated. We have mentioned the protocols this year that vaccinations are required for all NFL coaches, front office execs, equipment managers, and scouts. Anyone with tier 1 access that gets front face-to-face access to players must be vaccinated, and everybody in the Falcons organization at T1 is there. Item number 3 on the lunch breakdown, we will hit when we come back. It came out yesterday afternoon. We did not get a chance to talk about it on the show, so we'll be a little late to the party, but that's okay. The NCAA AP Top 25 is out. We had our coaches poll last week. Our first AP poll is out today. Who's too high? Who's too low? Who do you like and who don't you? We'll hit that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
Which, since we're not on stream, no
Well,
one can
we
hear
are
it.
now. But
Say, don't leave.
I'm not going to.
He's still playing here. Don't leave. We're back in mere moments. Don't go anywhere.
Can I talk to you guys for a second? Can we stop the age of the influencer? I'm begging you. Can we stop? Can we all collectively decide to stop following influencers on social media? Can we all just go to our social media and unfollow any influencers that we follow? Anyone with influencer in their title, unfollow.
Okay, because I needed to know what an influencer is. Is Mark Ryan an influencer?
No, Mark Ryan is not an influencer.
Okay. Trying to think of somebody
Was that you
else.
just looking for an excuse to unfollow him?
No.
Okay.
If I was allowed to do that, I would have did that a long time ago. No. Give me is there an influencer that I would know, a name that I would know that you would consider an influencer?
Like Kim Kardashian. She's famous
All
for
right,
being famous.
So yeah, I
All
know
right.
the name, but no, I don't follow her. So
All right. Let me tell you the saga of the dude that drives me crazy. There is a guy who has gotten incredibly famous, Lonzo. Incredibly famous, whose name is Sign Guy. And this guy's shtick, he created an Instagram account, okay? An Instagram account where what he does is he goes to places and he writes things on a cardboard sign and then he holds that sign up in the air. That's it. All right. Now, Sign Guy, whose entire shtick, again, is to get a piece of cardboard, write a message on it in Sharpie, and hold it up over his head. Sign Guy has done things so far, Lonzo, like gone to the Super Bowl to hold up his sign at the Super Bowl advertising Bud Light.
all right, let me just interrupt just for a second. Has he never seen a wrestling match? No, what I'm saying is the signs they're pretty low key. I mean, they're low tech. Get some
It's cardboard. It's not low, it's the lowest.
yeah.
low tech.
Get some poster board and
It's cardboard.
poster board and a marker or something. It's just okay. All right. It's like bad production. It just offends me.
So, Sign Guy has gotten famous because he goes to places, he holds up a cardboard sign with a message like, stop showing me ads for things I just talked about, or stop standing up when the plane lands, or just chill, your friends aren't doing anything anyway, or we're in this together, or stop saying no offense before saying something offensive. Don't get me wrong, his messages are fine. But he got to go to the Super Bowl to hold up a sign that said, I hope both teams have fun, or something stupid like that. He got to go to, I think he was at the World Series. He has appeared on Jimmy Fallon's show. The other day, he was literally at the White House with the President of the United States holding up a sign alongside the president. This guy's entire shtick is to take a piece of cardboard, write a very popular opinion on it, hold it up in the air, take a picture of it, and Lonzo, he is making more money per month than you and I make in a year by coming up with the ever so creative idea of standing in a place, holding up a cardboard sign with the marker written on it, and taking a picture of it.
So this is a man of the people voicing what the people, a good portion of the people are thinking and getting paid for it.
I mean, technically, I guess. I mean, man of the people.
Because out of the things that you've just said, he said on the sign, did you disagree with any of those things? I mean, you might. Okay.
But are we going to celebrate guy who writes them down on a sign? I have said things like stop saying no offense before saying something offensive on the radio show hundreds of times, and nobody has ever given me 5.7 million Instagram followers and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to rep their company because I had the stones to say some crazy thing like just chill, your friends aren't doing anything either. What a life-changing guy. All I'm asking, and this is, I guess, to the younger kids, stop making stupid people famous. I'm begging you, stop making stupid people famous. We've done a really good job of making stupid people famous, and I am begging all of you to stop. Begging you to stop. Please, make it stop. Okay, when we come back, for those of you not watching the stream, and you should be, Lonzo just held up a sign that said, listen to Rob. So Lonzo's pretty much got it figured out. Say very popular things on a sign, make lots of money.
Am I an influencer now?
I'm going to say yes. Quick break. Now, when we come back, I promise we'll take a look at the AP Top 25 poll. On the return, I am Rob Brown. He is Lonzo, a.k.a. Sign Guy Jr. You, ladies and gentlemen, are listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate. What is happening right now?
I see that on the TV
gotcha.
screen, and I was seeing if checking our air signal to see if we are actually doing the same thing, and if so, I was going to move commercials to make sure that they actually got played.
For your customers, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DEL and do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro.
For the ones going above and beyond. For the ones reaching out, helping out, and lending a hand. For the ones you can count on Grainger. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, backed by 24/7 customer support and specialists to help with hard-to-find products. Because
You have a Harley in the next break.
Okay.
Call clickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This break, a little bit longer because of the tornado warning.
Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life. I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub. It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors, and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, greatest invention ever."
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus. 7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get $175 and a chance. VIP Pro Football Getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
At Progressive, we're making things even easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lucy at this hour. A mega deal for Joel Embiid. The Star Center signed a 4-year, $196 million Supermax extension with the 76ers. Reports ESPN's Ramon Shelburne keeps him under contract with the team through the 2027 season for a total of $261 million. From ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, Grizzlies trading the recently acquired Edward Beverly to Minnesota for Jared Culver and Juancho Hernan Gomez. The NBA unveiled its Christmas Day games. It includes Trae Young and the Hawks visiting the Knicks and the Lakers. Chicago's attempt to return to the NFL as a tight end is over. The Jaguars released the 34-year-old former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback today. Yankees activated catcher Gary Sanchez and lefty Jordan Montgomery from the COVID list. Montgomery on the hill. Sanchez starts behind the plate for game 1 of today's doubleheader against the Red Sox.
All right, our first AP Top 25 for the college football season, which is less than 3 weeks away, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 3 weeks away. If we are counting down to those Thursday games, September 2nd, Lonzo, we are 2 weeks and 2 days away from college football.
If we are counting down, we are counting.
Well, so you're a first day is Thursday guy.
No, I'm not. I'm more thinking like a couple of days later. But if you count down to that, then you're a couple of days away from actual football.
I'm a countdown to Thursday guy. I don't care. I'm 100% a countdown to Thursday guy.
Thursday for me is NFL because the NFL has replaced the college games on Thursdays because they haven't been very good. Now, you throw some good games down on Thursday, then you got me.
Fairness. Saturday, August 28th, which is 11 days from now. Nebraska at Illinois, UConn at Fresno, Hawaii at UCLA, UTEP at New Mexico State, Southern Utah at San Jose State. Then Wednesday, September 1st, UAB versus Jacksonville State. Not a bad little rivalry game there. Thursday night, Temple at Rutgers, the Citadel at Coastal Carolina on that Thursday night, Zoe. Little Coastal Carolina, South Carolina rivalry going on there. Boise State's at UCF, Wilson and Illinois at Ball State, USF at NC State. Diesel and I believe, will be at Charlotte that Thursday night, ECU versus Appalachian State. I believe we will be at that match. Number 4. Oh, by the way, Zoe, you are counting down to Thursday, September 2nd, because number 4 Ohio State takes on Minnesota on Thursday, September 2nd. So you are counting down to Thursday because that's Ohio State's kickoff.
Okay, I stand corrected.
There you go. And for the record, I didn't know that either. So,
count me more excited now.
All right, so we got our opening schedule here. Let's take a look at the AP Top 25 as it stands. Number 25, Arizona State checking in. Out of all of the voting process, they ended up with 125 points. 176 for Utah at number 24. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns at 23. Coastal Carolina in the top 25 here as well after a spectacular season last year. They check in at 22, one spot behind number 21. Texas and Washington just in the top 20. Inside the top 20, Penn State, number 19. Iowa at 18. 17, Indiana. 16, LSU. 15, USC. That would be the California-based one. Miami at number 14. The Gators of Florida hold the 13th spot. The Badgers of Wisconsin, the 12th. Oregon at 11. North Carolina is at number 10. Inside the top 10 at number 9. The Fighting Irish at number 9. Cincinnati, the Bearcats at number 8. Iowa State. By the way, who told you? Look out for Iowa State this year. I done tried to tell y'all that's going to be a good little team. Iowa State at number 7. The Aggies of Texas A&M at number 6. Too high. Too high for the Ags. All right. I'm sorry. They lost Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond was the runaround reason that they were able to do what they did last year. They have, in fairness, a relatively favorable schedule this year. They're opening against Kent State at home. They're on the road at Colorado, should be winnable. Back home versus New Mexico. On the road at Arkansas, should be winnable. Back home for Mississippi State. Then they've got Bama, Saturday, October 9th. It is, however, in College Station, Texas. So if there is a favorable situation, it's at least at home. On the road at Mizzou, the Gamecocks come a call in the October 23rd matchup. Then they're back home for Auburn. On the road at Ole Miss. Back home for Prairie State. And then they wrap up the season on the road at a depleted LSU team. Texas A&M is too high for me at number 6, but their schedule is favorable. Georgia is at number 5. The Buckeyes at number 4. They are about 50 points shy of number 3. Clemson is only about, let's call it 15 points shy of number 2. Oklahoma, and of course, Alabama is holding down the number 1 spot overall in your AP Top 25. Texas A&M, too high for me on this list, Lonzo. I think Miami is too high for me at number 14 as well. Anybody jump out to you from that top 25?
I'm still shocked that Clemson isn't getting the kind of love that they normally get. I mean, I still don't know why they're not number 2.
Lincoln Riley, man. Like Ohio State. Oklahoma.
What about Dabo Swinney?
No. Let me rephrase that. I'm not making that as an argument why Oklahoma's above Clemson.
No, all right, because that's what it sounded like.
Yeah,
so
no. I think I'm saying
far be it stand up for Clemson.
Yeah, that was weird.
But I do, I see somewhat of an injustice here. I don't see what Clemson has done. I understand why Ohio State is actually. I think Ohio State may be a little bit high because we don't know what we're going to get out of the quarterback. We do know what we're going to get out of the quarterback for Clemson, and I do realize he lost a running back too. But Clemson has had a very good recent history of replacing their running backs also, and DJ Uiagalelei has he's got playing experience. It looks pretty good. So I don't know why they're not at number 2.
So I'm going to start with I think that's Lincoln Riley. I think that a lot of the media has a bit of a man crush on him, right? I think I think that the media has a crush on Lincoln Riley. They like the guy. They look at Lincoln Riley the way that Clemson fans look at Dabo Swinney, right? I think that's it. I think that the media looks at Lincoln Riley the way Clemson fans look at Dabo Swinney. They just swoon over him. Number two, I think the bigger reason is Spencer Rattler, the quarterback, right? Spencer Rattler is the darling for the media this year. Mark Ryan and I agreed on very little, but both of us agree. We both think ultimately that DJ Uiagalelei is going to be a star this year. We both agree on that. We think he's going to be good. Spencer Rattler is the guy that is getting all the love as the potential Heisman finalist from the media. And I think those two facts put together, Lonzo, are the reason that people are going bananas over Oklahoma. The reason they're getting the love over Clemson. They like Lincoln Riley. They believe that Lincoln Riley is the next big guy. As I've mentioned many times, outside of South Carolina, Dabo Swinney's not a very beloved guy, all right? A lot of people think he's hokey. A lot of people think he's fake outside of Clemson. A lot of people think he's kind of a fraud outside of Clemson, outside of South Carolina. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just telling you I broadcasted in other places, and that's the viewpoint on this guy. I think the media outside of the area, Lonzo, loves Lincoln Riley. I think they've already crowned Spencer Rattler Jr. as next year's Heisman Trophy winner, and because of that, they're getting the love up over the Tigers. That's my theory.
And you're probably right. And I completely agree that outside of this area, Dabo doesn't get the same kind of respect that he does here. And Lincoln Riley does. But for me, it's not about the coaches. It's about the players. And I think Clemson year in and year out lately has been right there. I know Oklahoma has too. And is Spencer Rattler, is he the next guy? I don't know. I really don't know. I just think Clemson should have been given the benefit of the doubt and got number two.
You and a lot of other people feel the same way. And I don't think you're wrong.
Now, they may not, all this may be moot after they lose to Georgia. It could be. It could be. So, I mean, we'll see.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I'm intrigued, right? I'm intrigued because I think that if Clemson goes out there and beats Georgia, by the way, Georgia Bulldogs team sitting at number 5 in the overall poll. If Clemson goes out and beats Georgia, I'll see them. I could see them jumping Oklahoma right off the get, right? Like right off the bat, jumping the Sooners. Oklahoma opens up with Tulane, the Green Wave, Roll Wave. They open up with Tulane. Then they've got West Carolina, a bad Nebraska team, an unranked West Virginia team.
Do they have to win convincingly over Georgia, or is a 1 point win
1 point
enough?
Wins enough.
Okay.
1 point wins enough because there are a lot of people, myself included, that think that Georgia is finally capable of turning the corner this year. Like actually realistically capable of turning the corner this year. A close victory over Georgia, I think, will be enough to give Clemson a boost. It's a neutral site game, too. So, we'll see. Quick break. We'll talk more about it as we round out hour number 1. Rob Lonzo, this is ESPN Upstate. Harley-Davidson of Greenville. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been riding motorcycles for the better part of, 7 years now. And while it's not a great day for it today, once this storm rolls by, I can tell you in my experience, the first handful of days after a storm comes by, man, the outdoors wakes up, right? The outdoors wakes up. The outdoors kind of finds itself. And riding a motorcycle through the area just gets that much better. And you guys, we are very lucky. We are very fortunate to live in the area we live. If you are a rider, right? If you are a biker, you are very fortunate to live in this area because we have some of the best riding in all of the country, ladies and gentlemen, and you get to experience it anytime you want with Harley-Davidson of Greenville. On the back of a piece of Americana, my friends, Harley-Davidson is not just selling you a motorcycle. They're selling you a way of life. They are selling you the ability to bring that Harley back to Harley of Greenville and get it customized exactly how you want it customized, exactly when you want it customized to make it the bike of your dreams. That's what they're here for, and they are good at it, folks. Check them out online at upstateharley.com or go see their beautiful showroom at 30 Chrome Drive right here in the Ville. It's our friends at Harley-Davidson of Greenville.
Any guests today?
1:30. We will have Dan Giglio from BetQL.
This is a radar-indicated tornado, meaning Doppler radar has detected rotations of the storm and development response. Bear in mind, the storm also has the potential for penny-sized hail. I'm meteorologist Eric Hudson.
Hey, high school football fans, it's Cole Bryson, the voice of the Burns Rebel. August is here, and so is the start of another exciting season. Join me for Burns Rebel football this Friday night as the Rebels take on the Green and Yellow Jackets. Every play, every game, all season long on ESPN Upstate and on the Odyssey app. The Burns Rebels, powered by your local Ingles Market. 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Stop living with that awful joint pain. And don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. We're excited to tell you about QC Kinetics. Right here in Greenville and Asheville, QC Kinetics is the leader in biologic therapies, regenerative solutions that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, pain in your hips. Patients here are raving about getting lasting results from QC Kinetics. Call now to learn more. 864-448-3772. If you have chronic joint pain.
This is Burns Football, powered by your local Ingles Market. ESPN. Here in our part of the Palmetto State, they will play the game. Cole Bryson, Lane Fowler, and
864-448-3772. Get your life back without pain. 864-448-3772.
There's never been a better time to switch to Spectrum Mobile. You can save hundreds of dollars on your mobile bill. Plus, there are no added taxes, hidden fees, and no contracts. Try the
You going
Spectrum
Thursday?
Mobile savings calculator today. And in 3 easy steps, see how much
I'm
you
guessing
can
that's a
save by
no then.
switching. Visit
Going to
We just got an email about it.
Spectrum Internet required. Savings may vary. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrummobile.com/save for
I mean, I could just tell you, but you know,
Oh, yeah.
this way I'm not saying what it is on the stream.
Yeah.
The Greenville Triumphs Black Electric Jerseys make their return Sunday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. as the club faces the Richmond Kickers. Tickets start at just $10 and they will go fast. So get yours today at triumphtix.com. That's triumphtix.com.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up? We'll help you find everything you need to do the job right. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil high mileage motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $28.99. And you can get it all fast, your way. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery. Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too, because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
This report is sponsored by Napa Auto Parts. Whether it's offering curbside or next-day delivery for online orders on over 160,000 parts or getting involved in their local communities, when it comes to serving you, Napa's motor never quits. That's Napa know-how. Dispensing
Wrapping up hour number 1 here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. I am Rob, the great one, Lonzo, sitting across from me. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307, 71307. Can also shoot us a tweet at the Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo, one word, and at ESPN Upstate. So we've been jumping around a couple of different discussions regarding college football. We gave you the AP rankings: Alabama, Oklahoma, Clemson, your top 3, those Ohio State Buckeyes at number 4, and the Georgia Bulldogs checking in at number 5. Texas A&M, Iowa State, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, and North Carolina come on and raise up at number 10. Spots I like and I don't like. Obviously, Alabama 1 is fine. I would say one more thing to the Clemson folks. Lonzo asked a question a couple of seconds ago and said, why is it, do we think that Clemson keeps finding themselves checking in behind Ohio State? They did in the coaches poll. Now they do in the AP poll as well. Behind Oklahoma, not Ohio State. The other reason is, and we've talked about this a little bit, I think we've got to keep in mind, though, how much Clemson is reloading, right? Like it's even if there's a bunch of O-linemen, even if there's a bunch of Justin Hill coming back, etc. You lost at arguably the 2 most important positions in college football, quarterback and running back, a pair of first round picks. You have to reload there. And as good as we know that DJ Uiagalelei looked last year during his couple of games filling in for TL16, as good as he looked in those spots, you still have to understand that most young quarterbacks don't just step in and replace Heisman caliber players, right? Spencer Rattler is a Heisman caliber quarterback. Lincoln Riley is being crushed on by the media.
Trevor Lawrence stepped in and replaced a Heisman caliber player. So it's been done at Clemson before.
Oh, sure. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying it doesn't have, it's the exception, not the rule. And I think that's where the media voters in the AP poll come from. All right, when we come back, I have been a defender of Naomi Osaka, and she's kind of led the movement for the concern about the mental health of athletes. But she had a moment in a press conference yesterday I want to address. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. All right. I am out of my good water. Oh, okay. My knee just decided to fall. I'm getting old, ladies and gentlemen.
Medic!
lose a game yesterday. The Phillies are off, while the Braves, they pick up a 12-2 win in Miami over the Marlins. They have a 7-run fourth inning where Freddie Freeman and Adam Duvall each hit home runs. Touki Toussaint gets the start, and he gives up just 2 runs on 3 hits in 6 1/3 innings, striking out 7, walking 2, and then Edgar Santana and Jacob Webb were able to finish out the 4-hitter. The series continues tonight. It's going to be Huascar Ynoa getting the start for the Braves as he makes his first start in 3 months. He comes in with a 4-2 record. Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
Have you heard the Rob Brown Show?
He asked me, would you feel the same way about Dale Sr. had Dale Sr. not passed away on a tractor in the race? The answer is, I don't know. I think there is some level of reverence for Dale Sr. that comes because he did pass away doing what he loved, treating cars as they don't. I don't know if I would feel differently about Dale had he not passed away on a racetrack, Lonzo. But what I do know is that regardless of how he passed away, what I do know is even before he passed away, that number 3 was the NASCAR logo. You can change that logo all you want, make it green, make it black and white checkered, make it rainbow colors. You make it whatever you want to look like. At the end of the day, NASCAR's most recognizable logo is that white number 3 on a black background. No questions about it.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
No. Oh, that was close. Stupid thing.
Play-by-play of the biggest games from Major League Baseball's best. Including the playoffs and the World Series. This is ESPN Upstate.
Game on.
Do you know, if I hadn't added the breaking weather, you would not have made it.
I heard it. I had it on the. I mean, somebody's got a radio on down there. Oh, you added. Oh, never mind. I wouldn't have made it.
No,
Are you sure?
The
I know why I'm saying I'm sure. Like you're not.
in the restroom, that thing is delayed. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's delayed
That's
a good bit.
That's right. We literally talked about that.
I needed to add that anyway because they just extended it and added another county to it. So we're coming in a little bit late. We would have, if you were even in the room, I still would have done it.
My bad. I'm unprofessional.
I'm just messing with you. We're good.
Clips 2 and 2A are going to get played in the segment.
Locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. It is, as always, an absolute joy and privilege to be with you. I am Rob Brown. The great Malonzo over here on the other side of the proverbial, metaphorical, and literal glass on a Tuesday. Question for you, Lonzo. When the weather sucks, and in case y'all haven't noticed, the weather sucks. It's gross. It's nasty. It's gray. It's rainy. We got flash flood warnings. We got tornado warnings. Yeah, it's not good. It's not fun outside. Lonzo has hit the age in his life where he goes, "It's gonna rain because my right knee hurts." Did you get the warning yesterday, Lonzo? Did you get the knee warning that this was coming?
We have had oppressive humidity and bits of rain ever since last week. So a constant ache is not a warning. It's a symptom.
So he hasn't been warned that it's coming. It's just been living through it. It's just been does it impact you like mentally? Do you get to a point where your brain's just like, dude, look outside. I don't want to do this today. Because I got to tell you, mine has, man. Mine has. I've just been at this point where my brain, as you can clearly tell, is I can't even dump powder into water.
Yeah, if you drop that in there, that first little bit's gonna automatically clog everything up. It's like an artery. It's just it's not a good thing.
It's like my artery specifically. The brain is just refusing to get going today, man.
I could be the guy to say, Rob, I deal with pain every single day. Pain is a friend. A lyric says pain lets you know that you're alive. So yeah, it's just life, yo.
I had a coach once when I ripped all the ligaments and tendons in my thumb. And I said, Coach, dude, it hurts. And he said, pain is weakness leaving the body. Turns out pain is actually all of the tendons and ligaments in your thumb being ripped open and a desperate need for medical attention.
I'm okay with pain being weakness leaving the body as long as it leaves the body. I mean, you go right
around that we got an issue. All right. I wanted
pain is that relative that will never leave. That's what that is.
I want to do something. You guys that have listened to the show know that I have been in the corner of Naomi Osaka for some time. Naomi Osaka is the young tennis player. She is one of the best young female players in the world, has been for a while. She's the one that left the French Open. She didn't want to do press conferences. The USTA was going to suspend her potentially without pay for refusing to do the press conferences, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, there was a ton of moral support from other athletes from a variety of sports. A lot of folks that have jumped in and supported Naomi Osaka after they have talked about after they talked about the desire to skip press conferences, etc. Well, Naomi Osaka was doing a press conference earlier this week for the most recent event that she is participating in, and she got a question asked of her from Phil Daughtry from the Cincinnati Enquirer. And I'm going to play the question for you because Naomi had a very visceral response to this question. All right. She, as a matter of fact, at one point, after responding to Phil Daughtry, started crying and had to leave the podium for a while. She did come back to finish her press conference, but had to leave the podium with tears in her eyes. I wanted to play the question for you and have a bit of a conversation about it. So here is exactly the question that Phil Daughtry asked to Naomi Osaka that emotionally impacted her.
Yeah, thank you. It's Paul Daugherty from the Cincinnati Enquirer. Let's follow up on that last question. You're not crazy about dealing with us, especially in this format. Yet you have a lot of outside interests that are served by having a media platform. I guess my question is, how do you balance the two? And also, do you have anything you'd like to share with us about what you did say to Simone Biles?
So that was it. That was the question. Naomi Osaka reached out to Simone Biles after Simone left the Olympics, had a case of the twisties. Remember, we talked about this. And said that the emotional well-being, her emotional well-being was just not, it just was not great, right? And Naomi Osaka, who just a couple of months before that had really started the whole conversation about mental health in athletes and emotional health in athletes to be able to perform at their best, having to really pay attention to that. She kind of started the whole movement. She reached out to Simone Biles to have the conversation about it with her. Well, it's Paul, not Phil. I typed the wrong name in. Paul Daugherty. 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 Daugherty? Let's go with Daugherty. Anyway, Paul asked Naomi this question, and Naomi did not react well to it. Naomi's agent came out later and said that Phil was a bully, that Phil bullied Naomi Osaka as a member of the press into having that reaction, and he should be ashamed of himself, and media acting that way should be ashamed of himself. And I wanted to respond to that a little bit as a media member. Number one, I have been a supporter of Naomi Osaka, of Simone Biles. I have 100% been in the back corner, been in the corner of these athletes who have said, hey, we really have to take care of our mental health, and sometimes getting in front of the media in these big moments can do damage to that. I have your back. I support you. I agree. But I would also say to Naomi Osaka and the folks that have supported her, which, again, fine, I agree. I would also say keep in mind that the millions of dollars that you make away from your sport, right? Away from your sport. You earn a lot of money doing what you do in your sport because of the natural talent that you have, because of the natural abilities that you have. And that's incredible. We all tune in to watch athletes like Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka play because they can do things with their bodies that we cannot imagine. We can't do. But the reason you make millions of dollars away from that, in part, is because of your story. It's the story that you tell. And that story, whether you like it or not, is told through the media, right? And so what Phil asked of Naomi Osaka was, you have made it evident that you don't like dealing with us. You're not wild about dealing with us. You have made it evident you're not a fan of dealing with us. Yet, you have a lot of interest out there that are made more successful by the fact that you do deal with us. And how do you balance that? And honestly, Lonzo, I think it's a fair question, right? To say, okay, you're calling us the bad guys for wanting to be able to tell your story on and off the tennis court. You call us the bad guys for that. Yet your popularity is due in part to the fact that there are stories about you running around the world in the media. How do you balance those two different viewpoints? And I think Paul asked a very fair question there.
I agree with you about the question. I'm just wondering if maybe he could have worded it differently, and made it sound less combative or accusing.
It honestly, did it? And I'm asking this not because I'm saying you're wrong. I'm asking you as a genuine question. Did that sound combative to you? Because
right.
I didn't take it that way.
So it's a brief snippet, and I haven't heard this guy before. So to me, he comes across as a little snarky and combative, but that might be what his voice normally sounds like.
Sure. I had a conversation last night with a couple of guys that came out to do a little celebrating with you, boy. And one of them, he and I get into these head-to-head battles all the time. And we enjoy them, right? Because they're conversations to us. You know who I'm talking about already, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We get into political discussions and social discussions and sports discussions, and we butt heads in. And I don't think we've agreed on a damn thing since I moved here. But he's also invited every time that I go out because I like the guy. And even though we disagree, we have great conversation. But as we have these conversations, people around us, Lonzo, start to visibly appear uncomfortable, right? Because to them, they think it's a fight. It's combative. And to us, it's not.
I'm just guessing that your volume level might be up a little bit.
Sometimes. Mildly.
I know that's unusual for you because,
It
you know,
is.
in a social public setting, you're usually people don't know you're there.
Right. And let's be honest, of all the adjectives that have been used to describe me over the years, mild-mannered is the most accurate. He and I have these long-winded discussions where we disagree on pretty much everything. But to us, they're just conversation. Whereas I've been told by people around us, like, you guys seem like you're about to punch each other. No, not at all. That question didn't seem combative to me. It didn't come across as combative. Now, Naomi Osaka would not be wrong in taking it as combative. I mean, it's your subjective opinion and reaction to what was asked. But it didn't come across as combative to me. To me, it was a genuine, legitimate question.
If you expect the media to ask the hard questions and not the softball questions, then you're okay with this. And I do. Again, to me, maybe the wording could have been a little bit differently to the point where no one could accuse him of what they're accusing him of.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that. I mean, maybe he could have softened it up a little bit. Maybe he could have Charmin softened the question to make it a little more Naomi Osaka friendly. No, knowing the audience. Right?
Maybe you know, there are times when you're you're okay with the media, and then there are other times when you're not. What can we do to make you always okay with us?
Yeah, I mean, but again, I still think,
which is still accusing. It is,
but I also think it's a different question, right? Like, I think that's a different question. I think it would be fair to go, okay, Naomi, you have said to us multiple times that participating in these press conferences are bad for your mental health. In an ideal world, what could we do in order to make you more comfortable? Now, Naomi did respond. In fact, we can play the response. Clip 2A is Naomi Osaka's response to this question. And I don't think she did a bad job of answering in the heat of the moment. It was just the visceral reaction afterwards. Here's how she asked Paul to rephrase the question, to repeat the question, not rephrase, repeat the question. So he repeated the question, and here's how Naomi answered it.
I can't really speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself. But ever since I was younger, I've had a lot of media interest on me. And I think it's because of my background as well as, you know, how I play. Because in the first place, I'm a tennis player. That's why a lot of people are interested in me. So I would say in that regards, I'm quite different to a lot of people. And I can't really help that there are some things that I tweet or some things that I say that kind of create a lot of news articles or things like that. And I know that it's because I've won a couple Grand Slams and I've gotten to do a lot of press conferences that these things happen. But I would also say, like, I'm not really sure how to balance the two. Like, I'm figuring it out at the same time as you are, I would say.
So that was Naomi Osaka's response to Paul's question, where she said, "Hey, look, I'm kind of trying to figure this whole thing out, like you guys are," and it's fair. I think one thing that a lot of people have had to kind of or have overlooked about Naomi Osaka. She's young. I mean, she's 23, right? She's 23 years old. She's not a kid. She's not 18, but she's 23. I tell you right now, I had a lot of life not figured out at 23. But I don't think it's unfair of this reporter from the Cincinnati Enquirer to say, "Hey, look, Naomi, on one hand, you're out here because, you know, I didn't take when Naomi Osaka said press conferences are mentally damaging to athletes. As somebody who has participated in many, many, many athletic press conferences, Lonzo, I didn't take that personally, right? I didn't take that personally. I didn't take that as, oh, she's saying I'm a bad guy. I get it. I understand. But I also know that I have a job to do. I also know that I have a situation that I have to handle, which is my listeners or readers, if I'm a newspaper guy or whatever, they want to know more than just what they can learn on the surface level. And my job is to ask the questions and get the answers to answer that for them. I also know that athletes in tough mental positions may have a bad response to that, and it's going to happen. It is what it is, right? But I don't think it's an unfair question to ask Naomi Osaka if press conferences are that damaging to you, if this is that tough to you, if all of this is that upsetting to you, how do you balance the aspects of being in the media that make you money, make you successful, make you famous outside of just tennis with that mental health aspect of your game, since that is what you are touching you're attaching your legacy to? Could Paul have been less combative? Honestly, I don't know that he could have without changing the question. And I think it was a fair question. To say that Paul is a bully and was out there beating up on Naomi Osaka, I think is frankly incorrect. Naomi Osaka is going to have to answer questions about this, or not. She doesn't have to, but she will have to recognize that what makes you famous is your connection with human beings, right? It's your connection with people. There are some famous people who get famous because they are isolated hermits, but that's less because of them and more because of the mystery. Athletes get famous because of their connection with people, and for different reasons. Some people will get famous for some reasons. Some people will get famous for others. It is what it is. Naomi, if you don't want to get famous because of the press, because you don't want to do pressers, that's fine. But there may be a price to pay for that down the road. That would be my only piece of advice. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. When we come back, I have a texter that has just texted into the show, and I promise you, Lonzo, Scout's honor. The next segment will be the last Tim Tebow segment I do today. But a texter just texted in something that I'm going to respond to because I think it is going to illustrate why I feel so compelled to talk about him. That's coming up next on The Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Welcome back. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. To the phone lines we go, and on the line is the host of BetQL Daily and Audio Sports Betting Insider, Joe Giglio. Insider calls presented by BetQL. Get access to data and insights the sports books don't want you to see. Bet smarter, beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. Joe, welcome to the show, man. Great to have you, partner. Appreciate you taking a few minutes.
You got it. Happy to be here. How you doing today?
Oh, man, dude, it's technically football season, which is it's not, but it is. And that's good enough for me for right now, you know?
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, up in, I live a little bit outside Philadelphia, and yesterday the weather was a little bit cooler. It cooled down finally, and I went into the local convenience store, and they had put out the pumpkin spice coffee. So I felt like, you know what, it's fall. Right? The weather's cooling a little bit. The pumpkin spice is out. That means football's around the corner.
Yeah, it's feeling very football-y outside. Joe joins us here and is going to join us all through the NFL season every Tuesday at 1:30 to talk about some of the numbers, some of the lines he likes heading into every week. And I'll start with this. I had somebody ask me earlier in the week, Joe, and I never really even thought about it, whether or not I played preseason games, right? I mean, you can get lines for them if you're intrigued. And I've never actually found the confidence to play a preseason games. Is there anything that triggers a play for you out of a preseason NFL game?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things. During the season, we talk about things like injuries, and we just kind of have a feel of who's a better team, and that can kind of guide you. Home team, all that. That guides you one way or the other. But in the preseason, there's some different things to look at. I think if you're going to do it, you really should probably try to pay attention as much as you can to either beat reporters or listen in a press conference with the head coach of that team leading up to the game, because you're going to get a sense from them how much the starters are going to play, which quarterbacks are going to play, because that's really going to guide where the scoring in the game is going to go. So that's important. And the other thing is coaches that have been around a while, there's trends on those guys. Newer coaches, we're not sure. Are they playing to win? Are they playing to kind of set up situations and they don't care about the outcome of the game? But one I could tell you, John Harbaugh with the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens have won 18 consecutive preseason games. I mean, that's the craziest trend I've come across in a long time. And remember, there was no preseason last year. So we're dating back, I believe, to the summer of 2015 was the last time the Ravens have actually lost a preseason game. I think part of it is they're good on special teams. They're fundamental. Like, it's all those things that kind of help in a regular game. But the surest bet I've found in the last couple of years in the preseason is just blind bet the Ravens. They're going to win their preseason game.
What is the now? Is it simpler? Is it easier to look at straight up lines? I mean, we've talked about earlier in the week, obviously, we're down here in South Carolina, big Panthers territory. We talked about preseason, and I get a lot of people that go, oh, we lost to the Colts. And man, it's preseason, man. Like, at the end of the day, the score is relatively irrelevant because this is about finding the young guys, etc. So when you approach preseason games, if you were interested in finding action on them, are you intrigued by preseason lines?
Yeah. So you know what? I think generally the games are close because the teams are playing it close to the vest. So if you see one that is way bigger than the others, I would look there because there's probably value in that. There's probably I would take the points because the idea of one of these teams blowing out another doesn't usually happen unless there's weird fumbles or just like accidental points that get scored. So I think if you see a big line, that's probably some value on it. And the other thing is the over-unders. There's probably some more value on than just taking a team to win by 2.5 points or whatever. Typically, especially the first week, unders usually hit. Teams are kind of choppy. Defense is ahead of offense early in camp, and that starts to change as we get closer to the season. But defense usually ahead of offense, especially with a lot of teams always changing play callers or changing the offense. The defense kind of stays static. If you can rush the passer, you can rush the passer. If you can cover, you can cover. Meanwhile, on offense, you're trying to learn a whole new system. So I think unders is usually the safer way to go, especially early in the preseason.
We are talking to Joe Giglio. He is the host of BetQL Daily and an Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. He's going to join us every Tuesday at 130 throughout the NFL season. We spent some time earlier in the month looking at over and under totals coming into the season, Joe, and there were a couple that I liked, a couple I didn't love. I looked down towards the bottom of the list, and I saw the Jets, the New York Jets, sitting at a solid 6, which is well sub 500 now with a 17-game season and a new quarterback. And now that we saw a little bit of flash out of Zach Wilson, I don't know if I'm breaking any laws that say never, ever, 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 ever bet on the New York Jets, but sitting at an over-under total of 6, Joe, they were one of my favorites. Do you have any over-under lines that you really like for the season this year?
Yeah, the Jets are certainly interesting, especially from the perspective of new quarterback, new coach. I like the coaching. Robert Saleh is going to do a nice job. And the only caution I would give, and I do think the Jets are on their way up, and I think you might be able to hit that with around 7 wins. I don't think they're going to go way over, but I could see a 7-win season for the Jets. The only worry I have is think about the division and the coaches that Zach Wilson has to go against. I don't think there's a more difficult division to be a young quarterback in. Think about the opposing head coaches. It's Bill Belichick, eats rookie quarterbacks for lunch. It's Brian Flores, defensive coach. It's Sean McDermott, defensive coach. We could look through it, but I would guess it's probably the only division where all 4 coaches come from the head coaches come from the defensive side of the ball. It's just a brutal division to be a rookie quarterback in. You're going up against really smart defensive minds, basically week in, week out. So that's my caution on the Jets. The one that I love, and I love this one before all the injuries they had, is the Indianapolis Colts to go under their total started at 10. 3 weeks ago it was 10, and that was a clear under for me. I'm outside of Philadelphia. I never bought into the Carson Wentz hype. He's never been the same after he tore his knee up in 2017. He fell from being a tremendous quarterback to an average one to really truly a bad one last year. And I didn't buy that he's going to bounce back even with Frank Reich. So I was taking under 10. You could have found it at 9.5 right as the Wentz injury happened. I saw last week it was down to 8.5 with the Quentin Nelson and Carson Wentz injury. So now we're at the point where you might start to worry that they're going to get to around that 8 or 9 number, even with backup quarterbacks, and you might have some pause. But if you still see it at 9.5 or whatever, I would take that. I think the Colts will go under their win total.
All right, let me ask you about a couple other ones, and we'll stay in the NFC South if you don't mind, considering we're kind of surrounded. I want to start with the Atlanta Falcons, and I find Atlanta interesting at 7.5. That's a team that every year come into the season looking on paper like they should be a well over 500 football team. They've added Kyle Pitts this year, who I think may end up being a threat for Rookie of the Year honors on the offensive side of the football. The dude is just a machine. Atlanta at 7.5. Am I wild for wanting to take the over on that?
You're not. I'm very intrigued by them. I think Arthur Smith was at a good hire coming from the Titans, where he was their coordinator, and he jump-started Ryan Tannehill's career. And I think they'll score points, even with trading Julio Jones away. I think you add up Calvin Ridley, and I'm with you on Kyle Pitts. I think he might end up as the best overall player in this draft. I think that highly of him. And obviously Matt Ryan could still play. They're going to score points. The only worry I have on them is can they stop anybody? Their defense is just, it's never caught up. It never really got going under Dan Quinn. Raheem Morris did a little bit of a better job when he was the interim last year running that defense. But the team, kind of the situation I'll compare them to is kind of late career Phillip Rivers when he was with the Chargers. Every year, we kind of talked about them the way we talk about the Falcons now. Like, maybe they could put it together. There's talent there. There's Rivers, there's receivers, there's some players. And then every year was either injuries or issues. But if you remember, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, the Chargers put together one season where they went 12-4. I think they lost the division to the Chiefs on a tiebreaker, and they got to a wild card. They won a playoff game. It was the only year the Chargers put it together, like in the last 6 or 7 years. And I feel like one of these years, it's going to be the Falcons. It's the same kind of story, and perhaps it's this year with a new coach. I like that one. I think they can go over that 7.5 number.
Joe Giglio joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. One more, and then we'll cut you loose, Joe. And that, of course, is the home team, Carolina Panthers. Now, I've seen them at a couple of different numbers, but averaging out around 7.5. The Panthers fans don't love me around here. I think the team is trending up. I think Matt Rule has the players bought in. I'm intrigued to see if Sam Darnold really can be the guy. But that offensive line is so bad at 7.5. I'm looking at an under for Carolina in the NFC South, even with the Saints having the struggles that they are having between Tampa Bay, between Atlanta, and a not thrilling schedule. Carolina in under for me, Joe.
Yeah, and I understand your logic. Let me give you my perspective on Matt Rule. And I watched him, I remember when he was an offensive line coach for the New York Giants under Tom Coughlin. Then I saw what he did at Temple, what he did at Baylor. Matt Rule's a good coach. I think the Panthers are going to win with Matt Rule. But if you kind of look at his trajectory, every stop he's been, and he's gone to pretty bad situations, which you could say Carolina was when he got there. Temple, just historically a joke of a football program. Baylor was just in ruins when he got there. The first year is rough, just like last year, kind of rough for the Carolina Panthers, even though they were competitive in a lot of games. Second year, they kind of teased 500. So you could say 7-10, 8-9, which is why the number probably is exactly where it is at 7.5. And then the third year is the jump. So I would say to all the Panthers fans out there that are frustrated with you, one more year. I would bet next year, whatever the win total is for the Panthers, I'm going over. Because Matt Rule's third year historically, that's when the big jump happens, and everyone's like, wow, Matt Rule can coach. So I think the program's going in the right direction. My problem with thinking the over this year and why I'm with you on the under, I don't believe in the quarterback. I think Sam Darnold's just a stopgap. All the blame in New York was, well, it's Adam Gase's fault. And I'm sure a lot of it was. But I've never seen it with Sam Darnold. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a quarterback that's been as bad as Sam Darnold for the first 3 years of his career, and another team is so excited to get him. Like, Sam Darnold has been bad in the NFL. Maybe he'll be a little bit better with Joe Brady. I would lean the under, though. And the crazy part of this division is I don't think the Saints are any good either. One of these teams, the Saints, the Panthers, Falcons, has to be above 500 just by accident, you would think. Behind the Bucs are obviously going to win the division.
We are going to find out. Joe, man, I appreciate it. I'm glad to have you on the show. Looking forward to our Tuesday conversations all season long. Thank you very much, man. We'll talk next week.
You got to talk then.
Absolutely. That is Joe Giglio, host of BetQL Daily and Odyssey Sports Betting Insider. Be sure to listen to the BetQL Daily podcast for more of Joe's analysis. Just search BetQL wherever you find your podcast. Back after this on The Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. We still have one more.
Mm-hmm. Rob has left the studio. And I'm going to too, because, sorry.
Do you need a new roof or think you do? I'd like to talk to you. My name is Paul Campbell, and I've been fixing and replacing roofs in the upstate for over 15 years. If you have questions about the condition of your roof or possible storm damage, call me and I will personally come out and check your roof and give you an honest assessment and a fair price. Call me today at 864-346-3121. That's 864-346-3121. Or find me at rooferpaul.com. That's rooferpaul.com.
When you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, company offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are. Olivia's best optometry technician is going back to school. Her eye is already twitching about finding a replacement. This can't keep happening. We're going to have to cancel appointments. Indeed can help her hire great people fast. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. Screen for quality candidates with the skills your role needs with Indeed assessments. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
According to research, 82% of people
Hashtag nailed it.
Shows you how slow Rob is. He went in first. I went and then got back before he did. They even paused in the hallway to open the door for him. And if you guys are still watching, I am shocked that no one has said anything about Rob's hat yet. How could we make it through a good part of the day and no one about
A solid effort, right?
you have a golf cart in the next break?
Fabulous. So a very short segment here.
So I've already responded to that email, but I think I'll respond to it again just because I would hate to go to said event and them go, who?
Yeah, Courtney and I are going to go.
That's me, Josh. Fast Tinkles.
That's how you earn nicknames you don't want, buddy. That's how you earn nicknames you don't want.
Welcome into the Fast Tinkles Show. Playing all the hits for the guys and gals out there in Radio Land. Fast Tinkle.
Radio Land. All right, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. I am Rob Lonzo here as well, in charge of the broadcast. Some texts that have come in. We'll clean these up just a little bit. Texter says to us, when we were talking just a little while ago about the Naomi Osaka presser, in which she took a bit of exception, had a visceral reaction. And I want it to be very clear that I am not condemning nor attacking Naomi Osaka. I'm absolutely not. I've had her back the whole time. I've said that to have her publicist call the reporter a bully for asking a question that I think her fans and certainly the media that covers her has some right to know is fair. Text says, ESPN, you've got to remember talking to someone about mental health who struggles with mental health is never easy. The nuances that happen that we can't see, I'm sure, impacted Naomi's reaction. Lonzo, you ever been having a conversation with somebody about something and then they just break down in the middle of the conversation? And you find out later that they have some sort of trigger or reaction to it that you just didn't know about?
I'm trying to think about.
Sure. And maybe not. Maybe you're fortunate and that has not been a situation you've come across.
Well, we talked about many situations that I've been in. I might be on the other side of that.
Charles,
be the one crying in the middle of a conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we've all had that reaction, right? Like imagine you lost the dog at a young age and then a couple of weeks later you bumped into the scene from Old Yeller, right? Like that would break you down. Now imagine, and I may be speaking out of turn here because I'm not a therapist and I'm very fortunate not to have these types of mental health issues. But the point is, it's that might be the best illustration of how somebody without them can understand what a trigger is for some people that gets them triggered. Asking someone in that situation a question about it, I don't think counts as being a bully unless you do it in a way that is designed to hurt them, which I don't think this question was. But I absolutely understand with and agree with what you were saying, texter. Another texter says, quote, a voice that is regularly snarky, end quote, something that the host of the show for men knows a thing or two about. Another texter says, ESPN, might as well say that Urban Meyer's next condition is going to be optical related because he's obviously going blind if he can't see the value Tim Tebow brings to the Jaguars. Let's take a break and address that because that's exactly the text that makes me bring up when bad things happen to Tim Tebow, even though I don't want to. I'll address that on the flip side. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. It's ESPN Upstate.
Golf card.
'21 Upstate Golf Card is available to you now. 9 rounds of golf, 9 beautiful courses all around the upstate of South Carolina. I have played 3 so far. Going to get another one in hopefully this weekend. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that there is very, very little that I enjoy more than hitting up the links on a Sunday morning, and to do it 9 times for less than $15 a round, for less than $1 a hole. You can't find a deal better than that. You can try, you can look around, go ahead, but you won't. It's just that simple. Go to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com to get yours now. Get one for you, your friends, whoever else that you want to make like you that much more. It's our friends at the Upstate Golf Card, upstategolfcard.com. I got distracted because, so right here in the glass on my side is the reflection of that TV, and it's about the same size as the TV. And as I was looking down, there was a commercial where Shaq leaned in from the side, and I looked down and all I saw was Shaq's head just like coming directly at me out of the reflection of the glass, and it legitimately jumped me.
This is what I'm saying. It's a sign of maturity on my part because, a decade ago, if I would have found out that someone is susceptible to jump scares, you would want to hurt them. A decade ago, I was working with someone who was susceptible to jump scares. And I took every opportunity to see how I could make said person jump.
Go ahead and tell you here. That would be the best way to ruin the chemistry we have on this show. So if there ever gets a point where you're like, you know what? I think I've had enough. I think I want to ruin the show. Just start jump scaring me.
See,
because
now,
the revenge pranks will be mean.
Now here's the problem. So now I will accidentally do it, and because I painted a picture,
You can't.
I painted. To the point where sometimes you think I'm trying to get you and I'm not. So now I will walk in the office or walk around a corner and you'll just be there and you'll think, yep, see, now you're doing it.
Well, fortunately.
Or I'm clever enough to say that I'm not clever enough to do all that. And then, I will do it and then say, see, I didn't do it on purpose.
Fortunately, Lonzo wears loud enough shoes that I can hear him coming 9 out of 10 times.
That's when I'm flopping. I'm not flopping today.
For the one standing guard. For the eagle-eyed. For the knights in shining armor. And for all those who support them. We are Grainger, your experienced safety partner, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, committed to helping keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call clickgrainger.com/safety or just stop by. Grainger.
Triton outage causing intermittent connectivity with live streams.
I saw that. So if our stream starts cutting in and out, ladies and gentlemen.
Which is why I'm saying it, because Josh.
Audio went out for a second.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't specify that that's what it said, Stathakis. But just know that I already knew.
All right, again, I'm lost and probably glad that I'm lost. And that would appear to be something that I would have to explain to engineering if I try to look up. So I'm not going to.
I fear you underestimate the sneakiness.
How could someone of my size be sneaky?
All right, wrap it up. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show. Last Tebow segment I'm going to do, all right? Texter says that Urban is blind if he can't see the value Tim Tebow brings to the team. Do you get now why we have to have these conversations? There are still people out there that after watching Tim Tebow in the first preseason game, still people out there that believe that he would add something to the team. He won't.
I appreciate loyalty and the fact that some people have undying loyalty. Those are the kind of friends you want. Those are the kind of guys who will have your back no matter what, no matter how low you go, they got your back. Those are the kind of people you want around you.
But not in charge of your football team. All right.
Well, there's that.
Not in charge of your business. All right. I worked for a radio station in the past that was loyal to a guy who went to prison 3 times and committed multiple felonies. And they kept replacing me with him repeatedly, even though I was the one that stepped up and saved their station not once, not twice, but 3 times when he went to jail. Now, guess where he is, Lonzo? In jail. Guess where I am? Hoisting the trophy for Best Sports Talk Radio Show, South Carolina. And guess where my old station is right now?
Last place.
And having to literally ask listeners to come in and host their show because nobody will work for them anymore because they've heard these stories, right? And it's not a shot at those guys. Some of them are my friends. But they are asking people who are listeners.
Kind of is a shot.
It's not. It's a shot at the station. But it's like any situation, right? Like if there was a company out there right now that did public relations and they asked me to come in and be their photographer because nobody else, no real photographers would take work for them because of their legacy, that'd be a shot not at me, but at them. The point is, loyalty is good to a fault. And that is the fault. He didn't contribute anything to the Jags. That's why he's not on the Jags anymore. And that's the last Tim Tebow segment because I'm over it. He's Lonzo. I'm Rob. And we got an hour left to go coming up on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you let that fade just right out to the right moment before you nail them with the ID. You know why? Award-winning producer. Thank you. Thank you very much. You know, why do I brag on myself? Because nobody else can do me justice than me. That's it. Nobody, they could try, but you know, they fall so short.
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. For ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley. You know what a goose does if you go outside and threaten it, Lonzo? It fights back like a jerk. And if you
So you just need you need a giant hand behind you just patting you on the back the whole show.
Is that an offer? All right, I will accept no caresses, though. That's creepy.
prove it like the T-Rex. Thank you, Dr. Grant. You're a damn filthy liar is what you are. Because this goose knew I was on the other side of the door. It is beating its head against the door like it's got nothing else to live for except murdering me.
Hey, Greenville, Spartanburg. Catch the Rob Brown Show weekdays noon to 3 on ESPN Upstate.
By the way, everything I'm doing on the stream, I'm just trying to crack Rob up. I just want you to know that. You wear that kind of film. That's you just do. That and I'm mortally afraid of tornadoes. And this is how I cope.
All right, let's rock and roll. The third, the final, the best hour of the Rob Brown Show is right on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. I am Rob, the great one, Lonzo.
Hey, Rob, how do you do Sign of the Devil? I was going to rock the music. I don't know how to do it.
First off, it's not the sign.
It's a trap.
You know what, Lonzo? You know what? I am, ladies and gentlemen, your boy is struggling today. I don't know if it's the weather. I think it's a little bit of it's a Super Bowl hangover, if you will. You know, I came in here yesterday. I had the trophy. We were hyped
That's
up.
the Super Bowl. That's just
it's a championship hangover. I came in yesterday. I brought the trophy. We were celebrating. I come in today, and I'm like, all right, today's the day we start working on going back to back. Today's the day we start working on going back to back. Bring your A game today. And I don't know if it's the weather or a bit of a hangover. The Super Bowl kind, the championship kind, not an actual hangover. But it's been a struggle today, and I have to give Lonzo props because he got me. That was a solid effort. He tricked me, and I respect it. I respect it. And also, Lonzo, it's like this.
So that's not Texas.
You asked, now you got to do it.
No,
You got to do it.
I'm never doing
gotta do
Sign
it
of the Devil. Are you kidding?
It's not sign of the day. It's rock and roll, man.
This is about as close as I'll get to it.
The Wolfpack. Oh, God. Well, anyway. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN, Texas in at 71307. We talked earlier about your AP Top 25. Clemson checking in at number 3 on the AP Top 25 poll. They are behind Alabama, numero uno, and Oklahoma checking in at number 2. They are just one spot ahead of the team that defeated them in the playoffs last year. That would be the Ohio State Buckeyes. Georgia, Clemson's number 1 opponent this year. Week 1 is number 5. A&M 6, Iowa State at 7. The Bearcats of Cincinnati 8. Notre Dame at number 9, and UNC checking in to the top 10. Other teams receiving votes to start the year. Oklahoma State just outside the top 25. Ole Miss, TCU, Liberty, Auburn checks in behind the Flames, but one ahead of NC State. Michigan checks in just inside the top 30. Northwestern, Boise State, Nevada, Ball State, Houston, BC, UCF, West Virginia, Army, UAB, and UCLA all receiving at least one vote somewhere along the lines as well. So that's where we stand right now with our AP Top 25. Lonzo asked the question, I thought a very valid question earlier in the show, which is why does Clemson keep finding themselves behind Oklahoma, the Boomer Sooners? By the way, Lonzo, first place votes awarded by AP poll voters. Alabama got 47 first place votes. Oklahoma got 6. Clemson got 6. Ohio State got 1. And Georgia got 3. So there's your first place votes breakdown. Clemson, a two-way tie for second, and only 39 first place votes behind your leader, Alabama, at number 1. Teams I like, teams I don't like. I think that I think Texas A&M's too high at number 6. I think losing Kellen Mond, I think a lot of people are very high on Jimbo Fisher, like genuine believe Jimbo Fisher is the next guy. And I don't see it. I don't buy into it. I don't see it. I don't like it. That's too high for A&M. I like Iowa State at 7. I like North Carolina at number 10. In fact, we had Wes Durham from the ACC Network on a couple of weeks ago when Mark and I were up in the Queen City talking about them. And I said I liked UNC a lot. I said I had UNC as a dark horse this year. And Wes Durham agreed. Wes said he believes that UNC will be playing Clemson for the ACC championship in Charlotte next season. He agreed with me. I like them at number 10. I think defensively, UNC is going to be better than anybody wants to give them credit right now. I think that Sam Howell's absolutely going to be a potential Heisman finalist when it's all said and done. Florida at 13. A lot of folks I've seen think Florida's too high. I think Florida's too low. I think they're fine. I think they're fine at number 13. I think they got something to show me left. I am intrigued by the schedule that the Gators have in front of them out of the SEC East this year. They open with FAU, then they're at South Florida. Then listen to this: back home for for Bama, back home for Tennessee, on the road to Kentucky against Vandy at home, on the road at Baton Rouge to take on LSU, Jacksonville to take on Georgia. Then they're at South Carolina this year, back home for Sanford. They're at Mizzou, and then they are back home Thanksgiving weekend to take on the Florida State University. They got Alabama on the schedule this year out of the West. They've got number 16 LSU. They got the cocktail party against Georgia. They're on the road at South Carolina. It should be a Florida win. All right? Should be a Florida win. But I'm intrigued. Florida always seems to have one of those road games. They've done it against Vandy and lost. They've done it against Kentucky and lost. They seem to have that one road game that is a bit of a struggle. And I got to tell you, after a season not having fans in attendance, if South Carolina can put together a little bit of a roll before they take on Florida at home, which they have a chance to do. South Carolina's got Eastern Illinois to open up. Then they're on the road at ECU. They're on the road at Georgia. That's going to be a tough one for Shane Beamer. They got Kentucky at home, winnable game. They got Troy at home, winnable game. They got at Tennessee. Lonzo is at Tennessee. Is at Tennessee a winnable game for Shane Beamer and his Gamecocks?
It depends on if Tennessee, that up-and-coming team, have arrived. I'm going by past and say they have not, and so definitely it's a winnable game.
I think it's a winnable game. I absolutely do. I think it's a winnable game. Then they've got Vanderbilt. Then they've got Texas A&M. That's a loss. All right? So that means...
So what is the record going into Texas A&M if you give them the victory over Tennessee?
I hand them a loss at Georgia. I think they beat Eastern Illinois. They beat ECU on the road. They lose to Georgia, and that's at Georgia. So that's a. I had to tell you, most teams are going to lose at Georgia this year.
Still, there are times when South Carolina and Georgia play each other to weird scores, and sometimes things are possible. More than likely, they're going to lose.
They're going to lose to Georgia. They can beat Kentucky, although Kentucky's going to be a better team this year. They're going to beat Kentucky, I think. They can beat Troy. They can win Tennessee. If they lose to Georgia before they get to Texas A&M, they could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, theoretically and optimistically, they could be like 7-1 going up against A&M.
And coming in with a 7-1 record, with the confidence that goes with a 7-1 record, where you're starting to believe, hey, look, we're winning. We're already bowl eligible. Why not?
Yeah.
More than likely it's a loss, but I'm not going to rule out the possibility that they could win that game.
100%.
Now, that's if they go in there and they're 7-1.
100%. There is a lot, right? There is a lot to be asked about. That Kentucky game is not a guarantee, although I wish that it was. Is not a guarantee. The Georgia game's an L. The Tennessee game's not a guarantee at Tennessee. For every bit of optimism there is, Zoe, about South Carolina, Tennessee feels the same way, right? Tennessee is they kind of feel like they are in the same boat, like they found their guy, like they've got it turned around. Neyland is going to be absolutely rocking that night when South Carolina comes a calling. It would not surprise me all that much if Tennessee beat South Carolina. If Tennessee beats South Carolina, let's say, Lonzo, 6-2 going up against Texas A&M. I've seen the over-under for South Carolina set as low as 4.5 in some places. If they are bowl eligible by the time they get to A&M in late October, that's a successful season for Shane Beamer. Yes or no?
Absolutely, it's successful for Beamer, and that would show that the hype is real, that that Will Muschamp is no longer there, and things are looking up.
Yeah. If Shane Beamer can get his boys into bowl eligibility before they even get out of October, that is a wildly successful season. And I think it's a possibility. I think it's a strong possibility.
This team is such an open slate. We really don't know what we're going to get with this team. We don't. So those first couple games are going to be really interesting to see, what kind of offense they're going to run, what kind of defense. Are they going to have some intensity? Are they going to actually know the plays? Are they going to pursue people when they get away? Just a lot of things that they haven't done under Will Muschamp. They put some effort into it. They're going to win some games that maybe they shouldn't.
Here's what I do think about this schedule. Eastern Illinois up front, ECU at Georgia, Kentucky, Troy, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. That's before Texas A&M on the road, Florida, at Mizzou on the road, Auburn back home, and Clemson at home. Those 5 games, look, Mizzou ain't exactly a powerhouse, but Mizzou's not a bad football team, and they've got some track stars, right? A&M's a good team. Florida's a good team. Mizzou's a halfway decent team. Auburn's got potential, and we know what Clemson is. South Carolina's bowl eligibility, Lonzo, will be determined before they get to October 23rd. They need to either beat Eastern Illinois, ECU, Kentucky, Troy, Tennessee, Vanderbilt. They need to get through that 6 or win 5 of those and snag an upset victory over Florida or a straight up victory over Missouri to be bowl eligible. But the momentum of Shane Beamer, I think this season and as a coach, when he gets through that Vandy game, so through the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, 7 games of the season, he has got to come out of those first 7. I think Lonzo 6-1 or 5-2. If he comes out of those first 7 with more L's than dubs, if he comes out of the first 7 with more L's than dubs, then Shane Beamer's in a world of trouble. Right out the gate in a world of trouble. Got to come out at the worst.
So trouble for the season or trouble period?
Trouble for the season, certainly.
Okay.
Trouble for the season, certainly. But it wouldn't be a great start, right? Because here's the thing. If he comes out of the first 7 with more L's than dubs, Lonzo, I don't think he makes a bowl game in his first year. And I think for the most part, the common belief here, I think that the belief, the common belief is that a successful season for Shane Beamer is bowl eligibility. That's what I've heard so far.
That may be the common belief, but is that the expectation by people who aren't South Carolina fans?
Yes. Yes.
What did you say that the projected wins were?
4.5, 5, depending on where you look at. So I guess not.
So that would be no.
Good point.
So that would be no.
Fair point.
So this will be the least pressure he will feel as a coach for the South Carolina Gamecocks this year, because expectations are so low nationally everywhere else. So you come in and you're able to implement some things. I think there's more pressure on him next year. As long as you show progression from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, as long as you show the promise that you have to look forward to in years to come, I think he's fine. But if they start out bad and they get worse, that's different.
See, start off bad but get worse. Like, I if you start off bad this season, I don't know if there is a get worse, right? Texas A&M's an L. Florida is, I think, a loss. On paper, it's a loss. Though, like I said, Florida's always got one of those weird games on the road where they go lose to Vanderbilt out of nowhere. Maybe South Carolina, if South Carolina can go, let's say, 5-2, 6-1 through their first 7, take a little momentum, eat the L to Texas A&M, but then be, 6-3 coming into that game. If they're 6-3 coming into that game, already bowl eligible, little confidence, playing well, Luke Doty's back healthy and being the quarterback you need him to be. Maybe you're the team that snipes Florida. Maybe. And if you do that, man, you're putting them on notice. You're putting them on notice at that point. All right, 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. Carolina fans, I've laid it out for you. Where I think you should be, where I think you can be. Agree, disagree. What's your thoughts? We're back after this. Rob, Lonzo, you. This is ESPN Upstate.
By the way, for those of you who think that, that was kind of off color for me to, I'm just trying to break Rob out of his funk. The world is that?
Download the Score app today. Lightning fast sports alerts so you never miss a thing. It's why the Score app is one of North America's most popular sports apps. With your ESPN Upstate Sports Center update, I'm Matt Pauley.
school football fans, I'm Cole Bryson. Get the scores, discussion, interviews, and more on the Saturday Morning Scramble powered by Founders Federal Credit Union. Every Saturday from 8 to 10 a.m. It's reverse. White Meadows right now.
Why?
What is that?
It's the singing ringing tree in England.
Okay.
It's in Lancashire. It's made of pipes and it's weird looking, and it's out on the hillside. And why? I was gonna say I'm not sure that will do that, but let's see if they actually.
Wind blowing through it?
Yes. Looks like something out of a horror video game.
Hold on, stream. Going for a ride.
Okay, I could done without that. I don't even know what that was. That was creepy.
Mm.
It's probably along the same lines of I think it was the Golden Gate Bridge that was making noises that were freaking people out to the point where they had to fix it.
Nailed it.
Way to go.
Production, ladies and gentlemen.
ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Spectrum Business call their competitors to see if any of them could beat Spectrum's business internet plus phone offer for $69.98 per month with no added phone taxes or fees. Here are real quotes from the competition.
How do you pulling enough people taxes like that?
I would 100% go with Spectrum.
Even the competition recommends Spectrum Business. Call 855-339-5344 and switch to Spectrum Business today.
Entertainment is it's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment. Smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
The BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
Sports, bets, and entertainment.
Hey, baseball fans. FanDuel is hooking new users up with an instant bonus up to $500 when you make your first fantasy deposit. Just sign up using promo code PLAY and get your bonus today. Then use that bonus to play in one of FanDuel's big daily fantasy contests, where first place takes home even bigger prizes. You'll love playing fantasy baseball on FanDuel. It's easy to start. Just choose the players you want by setting them to the salary cap, and you only need to set one lineup. Take on thousands of baseball fans from across the country, or create your own private fantasy league and play against your friends. The scoring system is simple. Payouts are fast, like 24-hour fast. But most of all, you'll love the variety that FanDuel has to offer. Beginner-only contests, big contests with bigger prizes, daily snake draft contests, and many, many more. So get in on the action and download the FanDuel Fantasy app today and sign up using promo code PLAY so they know we sent you. Again, that's promo code PLAY. Age and location restrictions apply.
The Rob Brown Show rolling on. It is ESPN Upstate. Rob Brown, directly across from me, the great one, Lonzo, in charge of the broadcast. 844-477-6666. 3776 844 GSP ESPN. We are not talking anymore. Timothy Richard Tebow. It's not happening. I'm done. I'm over it.
I'm practicing rolling my eyes on the stream because I've never actually seen if I do it right. So I'm going to watch it back later, which you could do too if you didn't get a chance to see it, to see if I actually can properly roll my eyes. Because if you're properly rolling your eyes, you can't see if you're properly rolling your eyes.
If you can't see it, then you know that you're doing it right.
That's not necessarily true.
How do you do it wrong?
I've seen people try to roll their eyes and they like stop part way, and they don't get the full rotation. I'm trying to get you away from Tim Tebow because you said you wasn't going to talk about it anymore.
I got baseball. I'm good.
I was going to say, and in saying you're not going to talk about it again, you kind of are talking about it.
My phone is blowing up with friends who are like, hey, here's my hot Tebow take for you, Rob, because I know you want it. I don't want it. He isn't good enough to make the team. End of discussion. That's it. That's the whole take.
You can send those to me and I'll make sure they make it on the air.
Tweet your hot Tebow takes to @LonzoOnWord. @LonzoOnWord. He'll put them in Twitter trending topics, I'm sure. I was reading through ESPN earlier, and Jeff Passan. I like Jeff Passan. All right. I like Jeff Passan. Jeff Passan's a good dude. I know Mark had him on a few weeks back. Seemed like a super guy. I like Jeff Passan. But Jeff Passan went and made some prognostications of how the end of the season would work out in Major League Baseball. And he basically went and he found who are the worst teams in baseball and put them together and looked at who had the hardest and the easiest schedules based on the most series with the worst teams in baseball. The 7 worst baseball teams in baseball have been doing really, really poorly. In their last 96 games, they are a combined 20-76 with a minus 262 run differential. That's bad. So he went and he took a look at the amount of teams that each team, the amount of games each team has against the worst 7.5 teams in baseball. He counts the Rockies as a half a team because on the road they're 14-45, though they're significantly better at home. Points out that in the National League, the Phillies have 24 games left against those 7. The 7 worst teams in baseball, by the way, if you're curious: the Diamondbacks, the Orioles, the Cubs, the Royals, the Pirates, the Rangers, and the Nationals. A combined 20-76 with a minus 262 between them in their last 96 games. The Phillies have 24 games against those teams. The Braves have 14. The Mets have 8. And then I read through and I went down and I took a look at the NL East, which your Atlanta Braves are now a full game and a half up after they absolutely smoked the Miami Marlins last night. Absolutely smoked them. And he said that the Mets and the Phillies are the 2 teams that he believes have the highest hope and best chances to be successful out of the NL East. The Braves are winning the division. They have won 11 out of their last 13. They dropped a dozen on the Marlins last night and are getting better. And yet he doesn't have him in there. He said the Mets have hope. Says he believes if Jacob deGrom can come back by the end of the year, that the Mets may be able to get it turned around in time to make a run. Points out that they have 3 games at the end of August against Washington, 5 games at National Park in the first week in September, 9 games against the Marlins, even though New York is actually 3-6 against them. Points out that the Mets have the most games against bottom dwellers in the NL East left to be played, so they got a chance. But then he put whatever, and that's fine, because he said the Mets have hope. He didn't say they would get there. He said they have hope. All right, fine. I guess to some degree, every team has a little bit of hope. But then Jeff Passan wrote, and I quote, if the Phillies don't win the NL East, it will be a failure, end quote. If the Phillies don't win the division, it will be a failure? He does know the Braves are in the lead in the division right now, right? He does know the Bravos are 11-2 in their last 13, right? Now, the Phillies have a pretty easy schedule on the way out the door, all right? Series at Arizona, who are bad. Then the Diamondbacks head back to Philly. The Phillies get Washington for 3 on the road. They go back to host the Rockies for 4. Remember, the Rockies are garbage away from Denver. And then they've got 3 against the Cubs, who are basically a minor league team at this point. 3 against the Orioles, who are bad. And 4 versus Pittsburgh. Now, this is why I think, despite the fact that that's a really, really friendly setup for the Phillies, I'm not quite ready to write off Atlanta yet. Atlanta has 2 weeks worth of games coming up against that caliber competition. Atlanta has basically 2 tougher series tossed in there because they got the Yankees for a 2-gamer coming up next week. 2 or 3. I know Monday, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday as well. I don't remember off the top of my head. And on top of all of that, the Phillies are a minus 18 run differential right now. They are not even amongst the top half of the league in winning percentage. They have a team whose bullpen is threatening to give up more home runs than any other bullpen in the MLB this year. And yet Passan is just completely just dismissing Atlanta. Okay, Jeff. I like Jeff Passan. This isn't going to turn me away from Jeff Passan. But this is not a great run. Not a great run at it. Jeff, not a great run at it. Quick break. We'll come back here in just a minute from right now. Got a couple more stories I want to get into before we bail out for Twitter trending topics in the end of the show. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate.
Radar has detected strong rotation with this storm, so tornadic development is likely. For your safety, the best course of action is to quickly get to the lowest level of a sturdy structure. Typically, this would be a basement. If you don't have a basement, get to the lowest level of your home in a small interior room, such as a closet or bathroom. Again, a tornado warning continues until 3 p.m. this afternoon for Lawrence County. Doppler radar has detected strong rotation with this storm, so tornadic development is likely. Bear in mind, the storm also has the potential for penny-sized hail on your Otis Air Country.
From the Ingles Market Studio, this is ESPN Upstate. ESPN Upstate.
An Odyssey station.
With no ask for us here. PA passes for Night in the Country Carolinas, presented by Ingles Markets. All day, one-of-a-kind festival experiences. All night live music featuring Miranda Lambert, Old Dominion, Chris Young, and more. Book yours at any Ingles location and save $15. This is your next great country tradition. August 26th and 28th.
Don't turn your back on the Wolf Pack.
It's called Navage. N-A-V-A-G-E. Available at Navage.com.
It's like I blinked, and suddenly all my business shifted to e-commerce.
Now, my business hours are whenever my customers need me.
My customers want everything now and faster than ever.
It's a whole different world. Your business is changing. The United States Postal Service is changing with it. We're bringing you fast, reliable shipping nationwide.
and we're bringing it right when your customers need it. Let's discover new routes. Visit USPS.com/new routes. The United States Postal Service. Priority you.
The Dave single from Wendy's made with fresh, never frozen beef has the power to blow your mind. But now that the Dave single is buy one, get one for $1, as well as the spicy or classic chicken sandwich and the spicy or crispy 10-piece nuggets, Wendy's BOGO for $1 deal is gonna blow your mind and your speakers. Get these faves. BOGO $1 only at Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Valid for items of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined with combo or any other offer.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is...
It's pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Brought to you by Capital One Auto Navigator, where you can find a car.
You have a Prisma in the final break.
Prisma 10-4.
Your credit score. Capital One. What's in your wallet? Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
The Dave single from Wendy's made with fresh, never frozen beef has the power to blow your mind. But now that the Dave single is buy one, get one for
I guess we're overloaded on this commercial, huh?
No, these are
Bill?
no, they're we cover certain ESPN shows, and so we have to play some of their spots.
Gotcha.
They send the spots preloaded. We have a system called AIM that loads the spots.
Right.
When they are loaded in by Jim, they don't come up as what they are. They just come up as, whatever spot for whatever show is on right now.
Right.
Without actually saying what the two piggyback barters are. So you don't know till they show up. So in his defense, it's not his fault.
Right.
It's them. And there's no way that you could possibly know exactly unless you're monitoring all day and going, oh, let me change that. To the point where I don't even know until right when the next stop set is playing. And then I'm not supposed to move something without, documenting. So a lengthy explanation as to why that happened. They're talking about your team. Now I'm worried about the tornado warnings rolling through the county where I live.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob and Lonzo and you. 844-477-3776. I don't often say nice things about the Atlanta Falcons. In fact, I do my best to never say nice things about the Atlanta Falcons. I do my best to mention as many 28-3 jokes as I can about the Atlanta Falcons. But today is a day to say a nice thing about the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons, according to the Falcons, so grain of salt with it, but according to the Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons are the first NFL team to reach the milestone of being a fully vaccinated football team. Atlanta has been very proactive with their vaccinations so far. They have also been very proactive with vaccinations in the community. In fact, at last Friday's preseason game, they offered vaccinations at the game itself. They have actually offered vaccinations to the public at the team's practice inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium during the preseason lead up to the game. The Falcons did have 5 players on the reserve COVID-19 list at the start of training camp, and at one point, the NFL had labeled them as a COVID breakout. But since then, the NFLPA has said that the Falcons have worked very quickly towards getting themselves fully vaccinated. And from what we can tell, if the Atlanta Falcons are being honest with the league, looks like they are the first team to go 100% vaccinated as we head towards the beginning of the NFL season. So if you were a Falcons fan, you can at least fingers crossed that if there is a breakdown of COVID, remember, we've talked about this a number of times, the NFL and PA have already agreed on the fact that if an NFL team causes missed games because of a COVID breakout, if they have a breakout, it will not come from within the house. The call will not come from within the house in the ATL. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. But the Falcons, first team to reach 100% vaccination rate this off season. Interesting story there. Out of the ATL, we mentioned earlier in the show, Carli Lloyd has announced that the 4 friendlies for the Team USA women's national soccer team that are coming up in the fall will be her finale. They will be her last 4 with the team. She is one of the most impactful big game players of all time for Team USA women's soccer. The second most capped player in women's international football history. She is behind only Christy Lilly as the second most capped of all time. The 39-year-old began a historic international career all the way back in July of 2005, just days before she turned 23 when she debuted against the Ukraine. She currently has 312 caps. Christine Lilly, 354, is the leader, but she also has more World Cup and Olympic caps than anybody else. 25 in the World Cup, 22 in the Olympics, passes Lilly for the most games played for a U.S. women's national team player in world championship events. She has started 239 of her caps, came off the bench 73 times, and has served as the captain in the latter part of her career, played for 5 different U.S. women's national team head coaches, scored multiple goals under all of them, 124 caps under Joe Ellis, 100 under Pia Sundhagen. She said she is thankful for all 5 coaches. U.S. women's national team head coach Vlatko Andonovski said, quote, Carli Lloyd is a true legend. Her career was unique, and her success on the field is something all current and future national team players should aspire to achieve. The way she approached her everyday training and career as a professional is truly impressive, and I've been honored to coach her. Lloyd has played international matches with over 100 other teammates throughout her career, and her longevity has put her at the top of so many of those lists. Congratulations to Carli Lloyd for calling it a career. Without question, if soccer has a Captain America, it is Carli Lloyd. Quick break. We'll wrap it up with Twitter trending topics when we come back here in just a minute. My name is Rob Brown. Lonzo's at the helm. It's the Rob Brown Show right here on ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
Prisma Health, the official healthcare provider for both the Gamecocks and the Tigers of South Carolina and of Clemson. They can be the official healthcare provider for you. Look, when I moved here in March of 2020, one of the first things I did, and this was pre-pandemic because, health matters. One of the first things I did was start asking people, hey, look, I'm going to need to find a doctor, right? I'm going to need to know that if something goes sideways and I get hurt or I get sick or whatever, that I have somebody that I can lean on, somebody I can trust, somebody I can go to, somebody I can see. And I got told by a number of folks, you go here, you go there, you go here, you go there. But then the most folks told me to go to Prisma. They said every time that they go to Prisma, they felt cared for. They felt like their healthcare professionals cared. They felt like the facilities were set up to make sure that they were convenient and easy to get to, so that health was the concern, was the priority. And I can tell you, since I have been here and started working with Prisma, I have felt the exact same way. The few times, fortunately for me, few times that I've had to go see the folks at Prisma, when I've walked in, the doctors have known exactly why I'm there, exactly what my history is, exactly what they needed to tell me, what they needed to look after, etc. And I have felt like my health was their priority. You'll feel the same way. Go to prismahealth.org to learn more, to see the facilities scattered around the Midlands and the Upstate, to see one of their more than 2,400 doctors that will work for you. Go to prismahealth.org. It's our friends at Prisma Health right here in the Upstate. Troy Pride Jr. is out for the season with a knee injury.
Radar has detected strong rotation with this storm. Dramatic development is likely. Remember, this storm also has the potential for penny-sized hail. I'm meteorologist Eric Hudson.
Saturday on Compass Media Network.
Did you see the picture of Travis Kelce without his beard?
It's a Lone Star State battle, and bragging rights are on the line as the Dallas Cowboys host the Houston Texans. Hi, this is Jerry Rico. Join Kevin Ray, Danny White, and Phil.
Way to ruin something. It's a way to ruin something. That's not what I meant, but yeah, but. So I guess when I bring that up here in just a few minutes. Got to remember to bring that air mattress for the office so I could take a nap.
I legitimately, no joke, had the exact same thought earlier. I'm like, I could take a nap before I finish up today.
Or I could just hurry up and do my work and go home and take a nap, which would be better because naps at home would be better than a nap here.
His profile picture.
Yeah, I did see that.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life. I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap stuff in the bathtub. It's like seriously magic." And
Day's almost over.
I don't know. Oh, this is the easy segment.
We'll see.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning. Are you finally ready to sell that motorcycle or ATV that is just collecting dust in your garage? Harley, Honda, Polaris, Yamaha, or anything like it. RumbleOn.com will pay you cash today and admits you have a real cash offer. We will pay you cash before we pick it up. No more strangers coming to your house from a listing site. Use promo code RADIO for an extra $300 on your cash offer. Get your cash offer today. RumbleOn.com. fast bikes, faster cash. According to Forbes, gyms, stores, and more set to go on an epic hiring spree to meet the pent-up demand for all these services. Businesses reopening means that millions of jobs will need to be filled. Where do they turn to fill these roles fast? ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's technology is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at thisexpert.com/tellerman. That's .com/TELLERMAN.
This report is sponsored by SmartMouth, the only 24-hour.
Nothing like doing a monster jaw creaking yawn and then realizing that you did it right into the camera.
Right into the camera.
All right, on this rainy, stormy day, time for Twitter trending topics.
So gross, man.
It is. It's pretty dreary outside.
I'm struggling today, and I blame the rain. Also, I hear, you hear that? Is that you?
That's our phones.
Sure is. How about that?
Yeah, just okay.
Are we about to broadcast through something gnarly?
No, if it's our phones, that means we are the area of problem.
Super duper.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Take shelter now in a basement. Not sure we have one of those.
Let's just stand on the top floor of the tallest building in our neighborhood, right under the tower, and see. Yeah, we got radio to do here, Zoe.
Here's the thing. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the office where there are no windows.
Can you
and ride it out?
Cool. I'm just gonna. Yeah. If you're on the stream, we're just gonna stare out the window while we do Twitter trending topics. And if we just get up and leave suddenly, take a guess why.
What's the point of I mean, I guess you're getting
seen a tornado?
You're getting, dude.
You're from Ohio.
One of the main reasons that I was glad to move here. I've seen so many tornadoes in my life that I've told this story before, but have you ever seen the movie Twister?
Yeah.
All right.
Hasn't seen
All right. So a few years before the lake was torn down by a tornado. So we go to that drive-in because it was rebuilt. We went to see Twister on Independence Day. While we were there watching Twister, there's a scene in Twister where they're at on the movie, it's not. So an actual tornado warning happened while we were at a drive. Just waited out. And because we've been through so many, we just waited it out. And then when the warning was over, they turned the movie back on. I've seen tornadoes come straight down the road that we live at the end of a dead end street,
right,
go up over our house and hit neighborhoods behind us, to the point where when I was joking earlier about being mortally afraid of tornadoes, not really joking. And you should be. You know what? You should be mortally afraid of a tornado. So I've seen a bunch of them. And one of the reasons why I was so glad to move here is because all the trees around my house are like 30 feet tall. That's a good sign.
So folks from the Midwest, I say you, but folks from the Midwest, you guys feel about tornadoes the way that like us down on the Panhandle, we've kind of gotten to the point about hurricanes, right?
Yeah.
Like tropical storm, we're going to work. Hurricane Cat 1, we're probably not going into work, but like we're not changing anything, right? Like we're just going to hang out. We'll sit in the house. If a window breaks, it is what it is. Cat 2, we're going out to buy some supplies. Oh, look, there's mine. I got mine a little late. Mine came in a little after you. By warning means one's been seen, right?
Yes.
Like warning means one's hit.
There's rotation in cloud. We've been playing some warnings earlier for Lawrence, for Pickens, and now it's apparently here.
Okay. So we're keeping an eye, and look, I know Mark and Diesel will keep an eye on this for you. when they take over here in a few minutes. Jokes aside, and we've been kind of having some fun, but jokes aside, National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning for the city, for Greenville, for our area. And, Spartanburg, we're keeping an eye out for you guys as well. But we just got the tornado warning for Greenville effective immediately for the next, we'll call it 35 minutes, it looks like. And that is going to include pretty much the listening area of ESPN Upstate. So eyes up, heads up, as we used to say back in minor league ball, heads up, because there is something that has triggered a tornado warning now, which means that, and again, like a hurricane warning means you're in the zone where it's most likely coming to you. I'm assuming tornado warning at this point means you're in the zone where if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah. The big difference between tornado warning and a hurricane warning, you can watch,
some time.
What its conditions are favorable, or they see rotating clouds, but that thing can jump anywhere. So yeah, definitely be careful. And the fact that we got alerts on our phone means that one's been spotted in this area, more than likely. So
please stay safe. Please stay careful out there. We will, again, I know Lonzo and I are going to keep an eye. If you follow us on Twitter or on our Facebook pages, we get these alerts. We'll pass them on to you as well. Mark and Diesel will be coming on the air in just a couple of minutes. I know they'll be keeping an eye on this for you as well throughout the rest of the day. But tornado warning issued for Greenville and Greenville County until 3:37 this afternoon. That means that there has been rotation sighted in the area, could lead to the formation of a tornado in our area anytime in the near future. So Lonzo and I are going to leave and go to the middle of the building and leave Diesel by the windows to keep an eye out for you.
But the good thing about it is, or bad thing is, there's a really large tower outside that will just take the entire building out. So it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of the building, the top of the building, the bottom of the building, near the edge of the building. There's that. But
have just gotten video from Union Grove, North Carolina. Anybody know where that is? Union Grove, North Carolina.
No.
Pretty gnarly tornado has just touched down in Union Grove, North Carolina, and that is the north end of this system of what we have outside right now. So this system is obviously capable of spawning tornadoes. So again, eyes up, eyes to the sky. Let's keep an eye out. Let's keep each other safe. If you see something, put it out there so other folks can be aware. You all stay safe out there. We will be back tomorrow to do it all over again tomorrow. Mark and Diesel up next for Offsides. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. This is the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. Later.
Yeah, we might be back if we don't all die. There's that.